In today's video, we'll be taking a look at all the new changes that comes with the first season of Marvel Rivals, like the buffs and nerfs of existing characters and the addition of new characters and maps. So sit back and relax and let's jump right into it. The first season of Marvel Rivals is called Eternal Nightfalls, and it seems to revolve around Dracula, and yes, he does exist in the Marvel Universe. Starting us off, we have two new characters, Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, and Jessica Alba. Sorry, wrong multiverse. Susan Storm, aka Invisible Woman. And we will be getting Ben Grimm's, aka The Thing, and Chris Evans. Sorry, did it again. Johnny Storm, aka The Human Torch, later on this season. We also have Mr. Fantastic's and Invisible Woman's new epic skins, which are available to purchase inside the store. This right here is the Mr. Fantastic skin, aka the Maker, aka the Ultimate Reed Richards. I love this skin a lot. I like the black, it looks really cool. And this is Invisible Woman's Malice skin, which is the embodiment of her rage. And all I gotta say is, oh my god. We also have two new maps, the first one being Midtown, which is a convoy map, and it includes the Fantastic Four building as a spawn and the Avengers Tower as the other. And the other map is called Sanctum Sanctorum, which is currently only playable through the new game mode Doom Match, which is an 8 to 12 player game mode. They have also introduced a new rank called Celestial, which will be above Grandmaster and below Eternity. Furthermore, all players will be reset by 7 divisions, so if you finished last season as a Platinum 1, you will begin this season as a Silver 3. Now for the buffs and nerfs, and starting us off is Chris Evans, who got buffed. They delayed his shield restoration after releasing the Living Legend down to 2 seconds from 3 seconds. His Limited Rush also has a faster cooldown of 10 seconds down from 12, and he now has 25 more health points for a grand total of 675. Doctor Strange got a bit of a nerf as his Maelstrom of Madness and Gamma Maelstrom now have a damage falloff starting at 5 meters and reducing to 70% at 8 meters. He also now gains 70 shield points a second when he releases his shield rather than 80 as it was before. Thor got a little buff as he now has 525 health rather than 500, so he's a bit beefier now. Hulk's Indestructible Guard Gamma shield value has now been reduced to 200 down from 250. Venom got a nice buff as his Symbiotic Resilience bonus health ratio, that's a mouthful, has been increased to 1.2 up from 1 per lost health point, and his ultimate now does 50 base damage, which is up from 40. Black Panther got a nerf to how much health he gets back after refreshing Vibranium's mark with Spirit Rin. So now he only gains back 30 rather than 40, and the upper limit has now been decreased down to 75 from 120. Sorry to all my Black Panther mates. Black Widow got an increase in range for the first effect of her Edge Dancer ability, which was 3 meters before, but it is now 5. They also reduced the time required for her Fleet Foot to recover from 0 to full from 12 seconds to now 4. Also, her ultimate now only takes 0.6 seconds to reach max power, whereas before it was 1 second. Hawkeye got a nerf for his long range threat, but now has more options close range as his spread angle between every 2 blast arrows has now been reduced. On the other hand, his passive ability's triggering distance has now been reduced to 40 meters down from 60, and his maximum additional damage has also been reduced to 70 down from 80. Could this finally be the end of the Hawkeye mains? Probably not. Hela got sorta nerfed as her base health has now been reduced to 250 down from 275. I'm not too sure if this is really going to make a difference on her character or not. However, there's still more changes for her, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. As for my main magic, they kind of buffed her as her Umbral Incursion now does 135 damage, which is up from 115. However, this is only whenever she's in her ultimate, so Darkchild form, so you know. Moon Knight got a surprise buff as his ultimate now has 14 talons generated rather than 10 as before, and they also increased the explosion radius of each talon from 4 meters up to 5. Namor got an adjustment to his throwing feel of his monster spawns and frozen spawns, so now he can more accurately throw them to a desired location. And just like with Hela, there are more changes for him, and we're going to talk about those here soon. Salak's ult will now check for barriers like Magneto's and Hulk shields, so it seems that this is a nerf. However, I'm not really sure what this exactly means, but if you do, please do feel free to comment down below so that everybody else can know as well. For whatever reason, Punisher got a buff. It seems they slightly reduced the spread of his Deliverance and Education. I'm not too sure why he got this buff. Then again, I didn't really use him all that much in the first place, so if you do use him quite often, please let me know if it's a W or an L. Scarlet Witch got a buff as her main attack's fixed damage now does 60 a second, which is up from 50 a second as it was before. However, they also reduced the percentage damage per second from 5% down to 3. Now I'm gonna be honest, that's a lot of numbers, a lot of math. I'm not too good with that. So if you understand it a bit more, please do feel free to comment down below to make it, kind of simplify it so that maybe I can understand it and others can too. Storm got probably the biggest buff out of everybody this season. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really use her all that much last season, but I can say I do like the way she feels now. They increased the projectile speed of her main attack from 100 meters a second to 150 meters a second, and it now does 5 more points of damage for a total of 55. They also increased the damage of her Bolt Rush to 80 from 70, and her ultimate now gives a bonus health of 450, which is up from 350. And it would no longer instantly vanish after the ultimate. Instead, it would diminish at a rate of 100 per second. Squirrel Girl got a new addition to her ultimate, so now the squirrels will rush towards the closest enemy after bouncing off a wall instead of just bouncing in a random direction. Winter Soldier got what I believe to be a soft buff, as his Bionic Hook and Tainted Voltage now does 40 damage instead of 30. However, on the other side, his gun now does 75 damage, which was 70 before. However, they also reduced the area damage from 70 to 65, and they reduced the damage decay from 65% at 40 meters to 60%. He also got an increase to his base health, which is now 275 as it was 250 before. Hugh Jackman got an increase to his base health. It's now 350 as it was 300. However, they also reduced the damage reduction ratio provided by his Undying Animal from 50% to now 40%. So Cloak and Dagger got what is in my opinion a very much needed buff. They reduced Dagger's Dagger Storm cooldown from 15 seconds to 12. They also increased the amount of dashes that their ultimate does by 1, so they will now dash 4 times, which I think is pretty cool. Jeff the Shark's ultimate got changed from a 10-meter sphere to a 10-meter radius with a 5-meter high cylindrical spell field. They also increased the amount of health that he will heal with his Joyful Splash from 140 a second to 150 a second. Luna Snow got a little bit of a nerf, as her ultimate will now have an increased interval when switching between healing and damage from 0.1 second to now 0.5 seconds. Mantis got a little bit of a nerf as well, as her passive movement boost will be reduced to 1.5 meters a second as opposed from 2.5 meters a second. Rocket Raccoon got a much needed buff for his healing abilities, as his repair mode will now heal 70 per second rather than 60 per second. As for the team up abilities, there are some changes, so that means more nerfs and buffs for certain characters. Up first is Hawkeye and Black Widow, and this is aimed towards further nerfing Hawkeye, and this nerf is reducing Hawkeye's season bonus damage from 20% down to 15. Hela, Thor, and Loki is next, and again, just like with Hawkeye, this is more towards Hela, and this will reduce Hela's season bonus damage from 20% to 15. Luna Snow and Namor's team up will give Namor an increase to his frozen spawn damage from 25 to 27, as well as increase the slowing effect applied to hit enemies from 25% to 30. Furthermore, this will also increase the Berserk state damage from 16 to 18. Rocket Raccoon, Punisher, and Winter Soldier's team up will reduce the cooldown for Rocket's ammo invention from 45 seconds to 40. Because Magneto started spending a bit more Father Daughter time with Scarlet Witch, she decided to increase his metallic fusion projectile damage from 55 to 60, as well as increase the spell field damage from 30 to 35. And lastly, Thor, Storm, and Cap's team up looks to further buff Storm, as she will have a reduced cooldown for her charge scale from 20 seconds to 15, and this will also increase the damage from 50 to 55. And that pretty much sums up everything that has changed that you need to know about inside of Season 1. Guys, I've been having a ton of fun with this season. I know it's only been out for 4 or 5 days, but I've been enjoying every single moment of it, and I cannot wait until we add in the other characters. Like I said in the beginning of this video, we are getting the Thing and the Human Torch at some point throughout this season, and I'm sure we'll probably even get more characters after them before Season 2 shows up. As for the buffs and nerfs that are in this video, I will say that they're more like adjustments and fine-tuning more than they are, you know, quote-unquote buffs and nerfs. And the reason behind that is actually revealed inside this message right here that's from Marvel Rivals team, and it basically says that they do not want to make any big changes that can completely change the way a character is played. And the reason for that is, 1, the game is still really new, but 2, there's still a ton of players coming in for the first time, and they just didn't want to make any kind of big redesigns or changes on these characters or these team-ups. However, they did say that they have exciting redesigns and adjustments for different characters and the team-ups coming in Season 2. So as soon as there's more information about anything that's going to change, I would do my best to get a video out to you as soon as possible so that we're all up to date. So in the meantime, if you did enjoy today's video, do me a huge favor and smash the like button, subscribe if you're not already, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure you share this with your friends and family so that they too can enjoy the content. And lastly, don't forget to smile today, guys, because it will make your day and everybody else around you brighter, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.